ఇంకా లేరు.
Yeah.
Started.
Okay, friends. Let us sit in a meditation for a couple of minutes. The consciousness of Percival before we approach the final points that Percival is giving us, the essence of this book, which I'm going to start today. Okay. All friends, namaste. Please close your eyes and clasp your hands. Okay. Take a moment to contemplate one of the most subtle and powerful ideas of spiritual science, which is nothing but consciousness itself. Whenever you hear the word consciousness, we often misunderstood, or associate with awareness. Again, awareness is of our thoughts and feelings and our experiences. But true consciousness is not your consciousness or my consciousness. It is not possession of anyone or anything. Consciousness is just as is. It has no name, no shape, no state, no activity. It is not something that it moves, something it acts, or something you can become. It's not a being, it's not a non-being. It cannot be multiplied, it cannot be divided. It has no color, no quality. Consciousness is just present. Present in them, through them, and around them. Please rub your palms and keep on your eyes for a few seconds and open your eyes to dwell into the consciousness in today's class. Before we go to the consciousness, let us recap what we learned about knower in the last session. Over to you, Balakra.
Thank you, Prasanna. So last week we covered, Prasanna covered the section 5, the recapitulation of the knower of the triune self. So the knower in the triune self is the part of the, we know that it is one of the part of the doer, which is out of three, the thinker, doer, and knower. It is one part. So it is pure knowledge. And knower is the pure knowledge, unchanging, complete, and it is independent of the thought, feeling, and desire. The knower possesses self-knowledge, and now it is not obtained or acquired by already. It is not by acquired by anything. It already possesses in full. So it does not engage in thinking or to know. It simply knows. This is the essence of self-awareness and self-certainty. It has I-ness and selfness. So these are the two aspects of the knower. So I-ness represents the passive aspect, and the selfness is the active part, active aspect. It is the I-ness is the undying, continuous self-conscious identifying of the triune self. It is the identity of the triune self. So residues in the noetic atmosphere where the clear light of the intelligence exists. So this I-ness it resides in the noetic atmosphere and where the clear light of the intelligence exists. So it witnesses all inner activities. It is like Sakshi. It witnesses all inner activities. Those are the feelings, desires, and thought, but it remains unaffected. So that's why we say, we should be like a Sakshi Bhava, as it is associated with the pituitary body in the physical form, which filters the light of intelligence into the human system. and it cannot be reached by the doer unless thoughts are balanced. So we cannot reach through the doer. It remains unknown to the human personality in a typical life. Hence, we cannot remember past lives. So that, it always, it's fresh. We cannot be stored. It cannot, and so it cannot be reached by the doer. It remains unknown to the human personality in a typical life. So selfness, what is the selfness? It represents the active aspect, and also it is the knowledge of the identity. That is the higher self-knowledge, that identity, function, and permanence of the entire triune self. And it is not affected by the feeling and desire like the one before we said. It is only associated with the rightness and the reasoning. It sends the flashes of light to rightness, and it's perceived by humans as conscience. So this active aspect of the selfness, it sends the flashes of light, and that we perceive as conscience. Sense, it sends the flashes of light to reason, and also that is perceived as an intuition. These communications are rare and often misunderstood or overlooked by the human doer. Distinction between the true self and human misidentification, how it happens. In the human body, the feeling component experiences I-ness and is mistaken itself as I, that is the mine, me and mine. It is the ego or false I. The desire component experiences selfness and mistakes itself as the self. So the desire, thinks in a wrong self. Together, feeling and desire together the feeling and the desire form the doer, which is disconnected from the true knower. That is how, because of the desire and the feeling, we are disconnected from the knower. The human's experience is thus merely desire driven. Okay, often swinging between so-called higher self, idealistic, moral aspiration, the lower self. The lower self is a selfish-based desires. The why humans are not conscious of the knower. The knower exists in a realm of life that requires purity of thoughts and balances to act, and it needs to be balanced actions and balanced thoughts. The human being caught imbalances and identifications with the body. They are caught in that, identification of the body. It cannot access this higher conscious directly. That is why the noetic atmosphere, the domain of the knower, is separate from the mental and psychic atmospheres in the way human operates in. Okay, completely noetic atmosphere is different from the psychic and mental atmosphere. The role of the knower. The knower does not interact or interfere directly with the doer unless conditions are right. Okay, the conditions like mental balance and self-purification, unless they are there, it cannot reach the doer right directly. When such balances occurs, knowledge is acquired by the human, though the knower already has it. Okay, the knower acts only as knowledge, and when it acts as itself, not as something separate. Already we have it, but we are not aware of it. I-ness and selfness, though distinct in function, they are inseparable and mutually reinforcing. When one is active, the other provides silent support and clarity. The key points here are: the knower is the unchanging witness and the source of the true self-knowledge. The human misidentification with the body and desires creates a false ego and the lower self. Real access to the knower comes from the balance of thoughts, disciplining desires, and living morally, which aligns with the reason and rightness. Conscience and intuitions are glimpses or flashes from the knower's light, guiding the human towards the truth, the ascended path. One must distinguish the lower self of desires from the higher self, and we should be unified with the identity of the triune self to realize one's true nature. So that is how we get to the liberation. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Balagaru, for the quick summary. Now, let us move on to the last one, system of thinking. So we all know now we had Parzival has given a lot of knowledge about triune self. Ultimately, in a one word, if we have to describe, he has given all the knowledge about triune self, why everything is happening in mental destiny, physical destiny, psychic destiny, and noetic destiny. and what is the reincarnations, what happens, and God of realm of God of gods, so many things, and he recapitulated everything. Now, at final, he is giving in a 32 points what is the system of thinking, what stages are there, what is conscious immortality. Ultimately, what he is trying to say is you need to balance everything and become a conscious immortal, right? So, what is conscious immortality? And this thing, system of thinking of you choose and will, because we have to choose this kind of system of thing. It is not a automatic nervous system that it will happen, right? We have to consciously choose this, because with the knowledge of the triune self, with the nature of the triune self that we have, we need to think without creating any destiny, without any creating any karmic bondage. We have to create thinking. So, how do you do it? With the conscious of your consciousness. Then you can become conscious immortal. Once you become conscious of your consciousness, you can think without creating any destiny, and that leads to become a conscious immortal. That is the whole essence. That's so here is all the points that is giving is to achieve this only. Okay, once again, I repeat, the system of thinking that he is giving to us is what is that? To attain conscious immortality. So, how do you become a conscious immortality? Because with the knowledge or the nature that we have and the triune self knowledge, then if you start thinking with the conscious of your consciousness, then you can become a conscious immortal. That is the point. Okay. That's a whole essence or whole thing that we are trying to attain. Okay. First point. What is the what he is saying? You who would follow the system, become the conscious of consciousness, should think the reality as represented by the word consciousness, as different from anything that you have read or heard about the book. So, first, in order to become conscious immortality, what he is saying is whatever that you have learned about consciousness, that is not the consciousness. Whatever you have read about it, that's not the consciousness. What is consciousness? That you need to first try to dwell in that. Being a conscious of your consciousness means the consciousness is not yours or mine. It is not a being or it is not a thing. It is not something that to be possessed. It is not a state that to be attained. It is not a thing that to be divided, or it's not a thing that to be multiplied. It has no attributes. It has no limitations. It has nothing to do with anything, but it has everything. It is not a being, it's not a non-being. You should not think consciousness is any being, or consciousness is something or any non-being also. So, are you actually, by listening these words, are you remembering anything that you already know? Anything that you already know?
Atman.
Hmm.
Atman and Upanishad knowledge, all
No,
this,
no, means
I-
conscious somewhere. We all know a one thing that consciousness was explained, but there the word consciousness was not given. Just it used the different word. Can
Yeah.
anyone tell? Nirvana Shatkam.
Like
yeah,
Brahman. Brahman or
Nirvana Shatkam. There they say it is a
uh,
Sivam. There it's
yes,
a Sivam. It's nothing but the consciousness, right?
I'm not this, I'm not this.
I'm not
And
this,
then,
I'm not that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
not Manasu, I'm not Chittam, I'm not Ahankaram, I'm not
yeah,
Indriyas, I'm not
Shoka,
Panchabhutas. So I
yes,
am that Chidananda Rupam, Shivoham, Shivoham. That's what they say, right?
yes,
So
in the last,
everything. I'm not a prani, a pranam. I'm not this five vayus. I'm not this saptadhatus. I'm not this panchakosas. I'm not karmendriyas. I am that happiness, Chidananda Rupam, Shivoham, Shivoham. So like that it goes, right? These are the first two ones that I mentioned, but like this it goes. Here also the consciousness is the same, that he is trying to, all the points, the first 3 points, especially that today I'm pressing, is all about this consciousness only. You cannot know really the consciousness. Only thing you cannot know, you cannot understand. Only thing, how do you know? You should become consciousness.
Experience it.
You should become the consciousness. Then only you feel that. You can feel it. You cannot know it. You cannot read it. You cannot understand it. You should become the consciousness. You may become the consciousness at any time after you think about it. After you started beginning thinking about it, you may become consciousness at any time. While you are a human being, you may fall off any time also. Okay, once you understand that it is not that kind of the thing, consciousness is not a way different. It is the most primitive unit in the nature. And also it is most advanced intelligence. Primitive starting unit is also the consciousness, and also it is an advanced unit is also the consciousness. Consciousness is a composite of the block of granite kind of thing. What is that block of granite? It is that supreme intelligence of the universe. No less, no more. And it is the capacity of being consciousness. I just break down into the points because the way that he explained was a bit tough to understand, but I just broke down into the points like initial approach to consciousness. Whenever you are trying to approach the consciousness, before we try to understand the consciousness is, you must reconsider all your preconceived notion. What did I think of consciousness? Think of all the things. That consciousness is only the conscious of yourself. That's not the actual consciousness. You should be conscious of that intelligent consciousness. Whatever you are conscious of or your consciousness permits, this is not the consciousness. The word consciousness represents reality. That is, anything that you learn from the books or any scriptures or anything is not at all the consciousness. You need to negate all the things. Then you will be reaching that is what the Nirvana Shatkim is also doing, right? It is not personal. It is not limited. Consciousness does not belong to you or belong to me. It's not your consciousness, my consciousness, as Rajnikari consciousness, as Balagar consciousness. No, it is not anyone's consciousness. Consciousness is one and it is a limitless. Limitless. It does not belong to any individual being, or it is not an entity, or it is not an object. Okay. It's not a position to possess. First of all, consciousness is a position to possess. It is not something you can possess, or it's something it can be possessed by. No. It has no states, no context, no multiplications, no divisions. It has no attributes and no limitations. It does not become something, it won't do anything. Consciousness will not become something, or consciousness will not do anything. It's not a being, at the same time it's not a non-being. We must not think of having a consciousness. You cannot, because if you think of having a consciousness, you cannot. We have to understand being as a consciousness or becoming a consciousness. You cannot try to understand that consciousness. You can become the consciousness. So the seeker, whoever want to know the truth, should understand the basic thing that he or she should understand is this consciousness. What is this core understanding for any seeker? What is that core understanding should be there? This knowledge, whoever is a seeker, true knowledge seeker, they need to have the direct experience. They need to feel it. They need to become it. You cannot know true consciousness until you become conscious of your consciousness. Remember, you cannot know consciousness until you become conscious of consciousness. Is it possible by the human beings when all these things? Yes, it is possible. In any human condition, without total freedom from the nature's illusions, without having a total freedom from the nature's illusion, it is still possible to become a conscious of consciousness. Then do not say that, oh, I am in samsara, I have kid that this, I need to do that, so I cannot become this. No. You need not be the Himalaya yogi, or you need not be like a something that Lord Shiva or Vishnu. Any human being, it is possible. The realization can occur any moment once you started contemplating begins. Who am I? What is this consciousness? Once you started contemplating, it can become, you can become conscious of consciousness anytime. Conscious is universal. It's omniscient, omnipresent. It's not any individual. It is present in, it's present through, it's present in everything. There's nothing like, in stone it is there, in this mouse pad it is there, in this book the consciousness is there, in this cup the consciousness is there, in this glass of water the consciousness is there. It is there in you, it is there in me, it's there in my mala, or it's there in my chair. Everything is a consciousness. There's nothing that it is not present. Everywhere. Regardless of the size, significance, everywhere the consciousness is there. It is underlying presence in everything. It allows every being or a thing to be aware of something as something. To be aware of something as something, nothing more than that. What is the nature of consciousness, if you say? It has a nature, right? What is the nature? It's invisible. It's equal. It's invisible. You cannot see it. You can only feel it. It's an identical. It's a very nature's primitive unit. Very nature's first unit, primitive unit. It's kind of a block of granite. But it is a highest spiritual intelligence. Consciousness is the highest spiritual intelligence. It is a facilitator of awareness and action. It facilitates your awareness. It facilitates action. Why everyone is saying, be aware of your breath, be aware of the things, be aware of your thoughts, because one day you can reach this consciousness. One day you can become this conscious, not reach. It's not a place to reach. One day you can become a consciousness. So this is, again, to become that also, only the consciousness should facilitate you. To become aware also, the consciousness should facilitate you. Everything is a being or a unit performs its function. It is aware only by its capacity, only through presence of consciousness. Without that, you cannot be aware of it also. It's a path of realization. It's a path of liberation. So whenever you are negating all false ideas, you can go deeply into this consciousness. Thinking deeply about consciousness, what actually the consciousness you can contemplate. It's a mental discipline. It's a foundation for your mental discipline. So start making an effort to become a consciousness. Start making from today, start making an effort to become a consciousness. When you stop defining a consciousness, you can go there. Don't define it. When you stop defining a consciousness, so you first negate it. Somewhere you will see there's nothing. Everything you negated it. That's where you will become the consciousness. When you stop negating what consciousness is not, there is some point where you don't have anything to negate. That's where you'll become the consciousness. It allows your mind to rest in the mystery of what it truly is. It will take away all your panchendriyas, panchakoshas, your mind, chitta, buddhi, intellect, all the things, good, bad, everything, it goes beyond. That's where the consciousness is. That's true consciousness. You prepare yourself for the direct realization, which is pure, ever-present, everlasting consciousness. That is a changeless witness behind all your experiences. What is exactly that all the experiences that you are facing, all the tastes that you are doing, everything, who is actually driving force is that consciousness. Go beyond all of this. That's the pure consciousness. That's the first point. Is it clear, or any question?
So we need to, like Adi Shankaracharya also said same thing. We need to negate, keep on negating.
Once you stop negating, once you don't have anything, then you reach.
Questions means it's a samadhi sthiti.
Yes. That's where you are going to reach that. So you cannot even name it. That's what he is saying. You cannot name. You cannot, with this samadhi sthiti is consciousness. No, that's also not. You have to go into that kind of bliss. Nothing. You can become that supreme intelligence. Once you become only, you will be able to understand it. Okay.
Nothing in the head, nothing. Then you
Don't
can
expect
touch it.
anything, right? Oh, samadhi sthiti, I need to reach. No.
Nothing.
Just negate
Yeah.
everything. That is also not. Then what else? What else? Okay.
Yeah.
That's the conscious. That's where you will become the consciousness. That's where you can go. Okay. Next one is, what is the second point that he's talking about? When you think, oh, consciousness, undescribed, unexplained, and without qualities, non-dependent on, not non-affected by anything, present throughout all the space and time, and being and throughout all intelligence, by whose presence all nature units are conscious as their functions, and the triune cells are conscious what they are, of what they do and what they may become. That's what the second point. This is all the second point that he has given. We will try to break down. Then you may think, oh, consciousness, undescribed, unexplained, without any qualities. It's not dependent on anything. It's not affected by anything. It's present throughout all the space and time. It's a being and throughout all intelligence, by whose presence all nature units are conscious, by whose presence, because of whose presence, all these nature units have some of their functions. Because of that presence, mountains are standing erect. Because of that presence, various flowering plants are giving different flowers, various fruits, various vegetables we are getting it, and because of the same, different animals are performing their things, and because of this, all human beings are functioning. Because of this, everything we are getting, everything, there is a consciousness. And because of which the triune self is also conscious, because triune self is loaning the light, then only the thing, right? That one. Because of which, then that they are becoming. By thy presence in me through the life and through the death, I think and I feel will be the conscious of the thee, know the consciousness. So by life and by death, everywhere that consciousness is there. And now we will try to segregate by point. So becoming a consciousness, invocation of consciousness, he did in the second point. Oh, consciousness, undescribed, unexplained, and without qualities. He mentioned it, right, in the first. So it is beginning, it is invocating that consciousness, the prayerful invocation, not for any deity, not in any form. It is that nirguna form, that consciousness itself. It's an ultimate formless presence or an essence. This is not a mental image. It's not an object of a knowledge, and not something you can see or not something you can touch. Consciousness is not something you can see or touch. Okay, it is undescribed, beyond your words or conceptualizations. You cannot describe with any single word what consciousness is there. Suppose if you say samadhi is the consciousness, then you will say not samadhi is not a consciousness, right? So no, samadhi is also consciousness. Whatever you and I have is also consciousness. So samadhi alone is not a consciousness. Okay. Unexplained, cannot be captured or conveyed fully by any intellect. It's your intellect or my intellect or anybody's intellect, or with any language we cannot explain. It has no qualities, nirguna, no limited. It is not limited by its shape, gender, sound, or energy. So there is no qualities. It is a subtle presence. It's not affected by anything, but yet present in everything. But yet it is present in everything, permeating all the space, time, and all the beings, and even higher intelligence. It is there everywhere. It is there. It is its very presence. Then only it becomes the conscious of all. If something should be there, if just the material thing, if this has to be like this, there is a consciousness. If I have to teach, there is a consciousness. If I have to come to there is a consciousness. If somebody is ignorant, it is a consciousness. If somebody is intelligent, there is a consciousness. Everything is a consciousness. That's the first point. Second point, consciousness enables all conscious experiences, by whose presence all nature units are as conscious as their functions, and triune cells are conscious of what they are. That's what the second point, right? By whose presence all nature units are conscious as their functions, and the triune cells are conscious what they are. That is the second. That is the second. In the same point, that's the thing. So this tells in living being, in every living being, every function in the nature, be it a molecule, be it an atom, be it a plant, be it a human being, be it a stone, be it a animal, be it anything alive or aware. Anything alive or aware, it has a consciousness in present. If there is no consciousness, that is not present. Everything is, suppose if I say alive, then we say only human beings and plants and animals are thing, but this cup is not no, it's not alive, it's just the material. But it is aware. You are aware of this is a cup. You are aware of this is a mouse. You are aware of this is a book, right? So these are all, everything, there is a consciousness is present. Consciousness is not a thing. Consciousness, the thing that is to be aware, anything that is to be aware, if you are recognizing this is a book as a book, which means that it has a consciousness. Because it has a consciousness, because of the consciousness, you are aware of this is a book. If there is no consciousness, you will not aware this as a book. You get it? So because there is a presence of consciousness is there, that's why this became a book. This became a cup, that became a water. This became Prasanna, that became Sarisha. So because there is a consciousness is present in everything, that is the thing. It enables, what a consciousness is doing, it enables nature units, fundamental building blocks, right? In the nature units means fundamental building blocks in the nature, to be aware of some specific functions. Mouse is used for something, cup is used for something, whereas glass is used for something else. To be aware of that function. Or this tree is only for Gava, it will give, this tree will give only the only for peers or something, right? So it has aware of its a specific function. Who is saying why this plant only give Gava? So why this plant? Because that is the presence, because of that presence of the consciousness is doing. Then that's a nature units. Every nature unit is having the consciousness. Second one, the triune self. Whatever we learned, all these things, right? The spiritual concept or the meaning of the three faculties. What are the three faculties? Doer, thinker, knower. Here we will say doer, thinker, knower, right? The three faculties, what are they doing? Willing. Knower is doing willing. Thinker is doing thinking. Doer is doing doing. So the three faculties, willing, thinking, and doing. They are doing, all the three faculties are doing willing, thinking, and doing to become the conscious of. What is it become? What it is. What is the conscious is? What it does. What it is doing. Conscious work or consciousness in you, what it is doing. It is doing your karma. It is doing your action. It is showing the growth. That is a karma. Doing what it does karma, it does action, it does growth. What it is just the presence. What it may become, what that consciousness in you may become, ultimate evolution or destiny, ultimate intelligence it may become. That consciousness can become that intelligent, ultimate evolution or destiny. That's what it is. the presence. It is doing karma, growth, action, but it can become ultimate evolution and destiny. The call to willfully know the consciousness. So everybody should get that call to willfully know the consciousness. Otherwise, you and me will be just going around the world, going around the outside objectives and all the things for years together, isn't it? So there should be some calling that should come consciously to know that consciousness. I think and feel and will be consciousness of the know. So one day you'll feel that, oh, I know, that's what they said. I think and feel and will be the consciousness of to know the consciousness. So it means the seeker, whoever is seeking the truth, resolves about the full power of mind. So full power of mind means thinking. Full power of heart, feeling, and the will to become the conscious of consciousness, thinking, feeling, and to will to become the conscious of consciousness. This is the spiritual oath that you need to take from today. That's a spiritual oath that you need to take, not for the result or not for the reward. Don't expect any result or reward, but for your higher awareness, for your own highest possible awareness, you take this oath today to become, I will use my mind completely. I will use my heart, complete feeling. I will feel, become the conscious of consciousness. That's the call that you need to get it. With all the things, with all these 115 weeks that we have gone through the thinking and destiny, we should become that. Let's do. Let go of the timetable. Don't say that, okay, this book I have completed like 3.5 years or 4 years. Then I become the consciousness in 1 year because I have a knowledge. No timetable. Okay, you can become in the next minute or you may not become in this lifetime. It is both are possible, right? So you should not set any time. When you want to become a conscious of consciousness, no timetable, please. It's important of the spiritual guidance. Just follow your spiritual guidance. Do not attempt to or control what that knowledge is downloading to you or what that knowledge, what that intuition is saying to you. Become aware of that. It may happen today or in this lifetime or after many lifetimes. Once all the aspects of your mind is purified under control, when you can become, your karma baggage should go nullify. Then only you can become that pure consciousness, right? So it may become today, or it may become it may take a lifetime, or it may take many lifetimes, because your mind should be purely purified. Let go of your over anxiousness. Oh my God, this much is there. When I will become, don't be over anxious. It will come whenever it has to come, but be aware of your intuitions. Do that. Don't expect anything. No expectations. No conditions. Conditions are very critical. Do not put, if you do that, I'll give, because if you go to the God, if you do this, I will do this. No conditions here, consciousness. There are obstacles in this path. Whenever you are more spiritual, so many things will come, because it is testing you, because the more and more the things are coming to you in your life, means the karma package is trying to empty, because the more you are taking, the more it will come, because you are actually taking off all the karma. That's what you need to remember. The obstacles will delay your unfolding, but do not wave yourself from that. Be there in that awareness. The path must be walked quite assurance. You know that universe is supporting you to become a conscious of consciousness. So there is a no urgent participation. You go with quiet thing. Again, if there is a death in between, it's not a break. Remember, spiritual science, how much ever you learned it, it is not like, oh, in this lifetime I became I did a PhD, next lifetime I have to start A, B, C, D. Yes, you have to start. That's a normal studies. But in this spiritual science, death is not a break. That's what, think the death of your body is no greater break. That's a night sleep. That's just the night sleep. Death is not to the end. It is your intent. When your intent is clear, you start from there to know the consciousness. Then your journey continues uninterrupted. Physical death is no more a disturbance than sleeping to your walking life, to your waking life. You're just sleeping for a while. Your continuity of the self, the one that wills, learns, and remembers, remain unaffected, remain intact. When I asked about Patri sir, you are saying that I can do that, this, and I have done meditation with you, then why? Why can't I come until this 40 plus years? Why I was not in this path? He told one thing, because some of you, Balagar, I think you were also there in that session, he said, you have so many things to experience, you have to clear your baggage. So if that meditation comes early, where in the world that you can clear all the things? After you have done, then it will come. Once it starts, that's where you stop it. From there, your journey continues. That's really, I experienced that for myself. You all, I'm sure you all experiencing by yourself too, the same thing. We need to take, because this lifetime, the obstacles are the, whatever the things also, it's a part of our karmic bondage that we have to experience the things. But once you are the spiritual seeker, once you are a truth seeker, the journey continues. Consciousness is the light and the map. It's a light and it is the map that it is showing. Becoming a conscious of consciousness will be the map and the light for you. Once even a glimpse of consciousness, a small glimpse of consciousness is experienced, you are changed forever. Once you just went a glimpse of it also, you will be changed forever. You will be very happy, because once you touch that happiness, right, you don't want to go back. You are not fully free, but now you have a direction. Once you touch that one, right, you have a direction. You have a light within. This thinking on destiny may not change your entire life, but the direction was given. The light was given. You're not alone. You are doer, thinker, knower. Concepts were given. So with all this knowledge, you can experience that inner processes, inner compass. Whatever the inner compass it is showing, then everybody is saying after in the meditation, I got that, I got this, I want to do this. Why? Why this? That is the inner compass has become open. Your inner map got opened, not our Apple Maps or Google Maps. Our inner map got opened. So it is showing you the direction. The inner GPS has got opened. Okay. It does not immediately erase all your karmic debts. Once you touch that thing, it will not immediately erase all your karmic debts. Remember. It won't give you any supernatural powers. It won't control your desires also. But it unites you fully into the higher self. Eventually, it unites you fully into the higher self, but it gives you the certainty, clarity that what you want to do, and it leads you to the above all of these things. Like above all what? It leads to above all your karmic bondage, above all your supernatural powers, above all your desires. It goes beyond that. It takes you to beyond that. I know pretty much we are all experiencing those things slowly, simple things. We lost the desire of our external things. We lost the desire of our materialistic things. So many things we must have lost. Why? Because once you understand, you are already feeling full. You're already feeling satisfied. You're already very happy inside. Then why? Previously, whenever I go to any temple or a god or anything, I used to pray like, oh, I want that. Next step is this. Now, I feel I'm so gratitude. I'm so grateful for whatever you have given. That is all the one thing, because you are already satisfied what you know that whatever it has to come, it will come. So you will be so grateful for the things that you already have it. Growth becomes inevitable. Once you become the conscious of consciousness, your growth is inevitable. You may not do what you know to be right. You may not do what you know to be right, but you know what you are doing is wrong. If you are doing anything wrong, you know what you are doing is wrong. That's what I say in the meditational, right? So many people, whenever they say experience, right? They say, oh, I gave that energy to the other people, I gave this. No, it is not going to show that. Again, don't create your image there. Here, in meditation, whenever you are conscious of your consciousness, it will tell you first what are you doing the mistakes. What are you doing? If I become in all the 3 years, 3.5 years that the book was started, right? Every day, every single day that I'm preparing for this book, I feel like more grateful, more gratitude to all the people who are coming here, who made me to teach this book, because of all of these people only I'm able to read, absorb and able to deliver, which is actually helping me. Whether it is helping you or not is, again, it's totally immaterial for me, because universe is giving for each of us in a different forms. There are people who can read, who can explain. There are people who can listen and assimilate. Those who are listening is no way lesser than those who are teaching. These are all the same. We are all given an opportunity. So once you become that kind of thing, I am able to teach, then your consciousness is gone. You have got that false ego. The more humble you become, so the growth is inevitable. The more humble you become, the growth is already inevitable. Know that you are what you are doing. Every minute, know that what you are doing. Be compelled. Over time, you compel yourself what is right, what is wrong, your own things. Do not worry about other things. Not even your spouse, not even your kids. First, do your own things. Grow steadily. That gives you, say, a lot of strength, confidence, and wisdom. When you grow steadily, a lot of wisdom, confidence, and wisdom it will give. The inner honesty becomes unshakable. Whatever the honesty, this is very unshakable. You cannot lie to yourself anymore. You cannot lie yourself. You know, like what you are doing, right? You cannot lie to yourself anymore. You have to be very honest. Then confidence and steadiness are the key. Whenever you are doing in this path, you should be confident that universe will give me, consciousness will give me. So let's go, dwell on it. Have a constant and steady assurance. One day you will say, oh, I depend on the God, I depend on the universe, and tomorrow, oh, something happened. I don't know why this happened. So you should not lose that. There should not be any doubt. Confidence is not an arrogance. Remember, again, there is a difference, a slight difference, arrogance and confidence. We should be confident, but not arrogant. Confidence is essential, but not arrogance. You need not figure out how and when. It just comes. You are moving in a daily life with contemplation, the lifetimes, daily life and lifetimes together to reach that goal, to become a conscious of consciousness. The path is already there. You just need, the path will be unfold when you are aware of it. You are never alone. Remember, you are never alone. Without warning, this conscious of consciousness will happen one day. That kind of confidence you should have. The final realization, what is that final realization in this part? Yes, you as feeling and desire, righteousness and reasoning, I-ness and selfness are one, which means the triune self. You are the triune self. Feeling and desire do your part, righteousness, reasoning, thinker part, and I-ness and selfness is a knower part. All together is you, not just the doer. When that moment arrives, all seeming divisions between a feeling, desire, thought, identity, everything will vanish. You experience that integrated whole. That's a triune self. You don't become a consciousness, you become conscious of consciousness. Because you already consciousness, you're already consciousness, but only thing is you are not conscious of it. And thereby you don't know the true nature, that your true nature is love, love, love. Unconditional love. You are not actually. So we'll say, yeah, the other day I'm saying it's a in any book, that's what I'm just learning. At the end, it is only the conscious of this nature. And then he said, oh, if we give all the money, then tomorrow something. Who asked you to give all the money? Did we ask? Just love everyone, because we are so engraved that loving everybody means giving away the money. No, you need not. Everybody is coming in their own karmic thing. Whenever they have to get it, they just love. Don't gossip around. Don't think bad about anybody. Don't talk bad about anybody. Okay, this is a self-realization, the goals of existence, not a mystical event, but recognition that has been what is the truth. So the final reflection of this particular second paragraph is that it reaches what it reaches: reverence or unknowable consciousness, determination to know it, patience with the time, discipline in action, faith in progress, clarity in destination. Then let us live that life with a calm assurance, silent determination, and loving, patient heart. And one day, unannounced, it will not say anything, unannounced, you will become conscious of consciousness. Once you become conscious of consciousness, everything will be changed. You are that happy bee. I will stop with the second point because I don't have that